So we got this cylinder out of the kerosene tank here. Oh wow, looks like it dissolved a lot of it. We just got it on cardboard so we don't mess up our surfaces. And then, oh hi. And then we got the valve spring compressor tool coming in today too. All right. Go ahead and hit that like button. All right, so this just came out of the kerosene, out of this tote, the makeshift parts washer. I still got the bracket in here of the power steering pump with the AC compressor to clean up too. That's been soaking in kerosene for the last day or so. Just make it all nice and clean. We'll let that sit. We'll put the top back on it. But this, I'm really impressed. This has been soaking in the kerosene about 2 days after I scrubbed it on that other live. So the valve spring compressor tool should be coming in soon. But in the meantime, I did get this little brush to run through these last little bits I couldn't get to very well with a toothbrush. So here's the intake runners here. It's all from the van here, guys. Starby, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, we're getting this thing prepped. The head gaskets are supposed to be coming in today from the Rock Auto. I'm not sponsored. I just buy a lot of stuff from these guys. I'm not sponsored by anybody, guys. I sponsor myself. So I'm not trying to like have you guys buy something because I make a commission off of it. That's basically what that means. This stuff I bought myself with my own money. You know, this stuff we're gonna finish cleaning it up with this Brillo pad. I have it sitting over here. I'm gonna grab it right now because it's still got a tiny bit of the gasket material on it. Here, this fell down. I still had one left the other night. I thought I ran out, but this is one last little square. We're gonna make a trip to Walmart later today and get some more. So there'll be more to come. Let me put this light on here so you don't see my shadow from my head on it. How's that? And I'm gonna try to get a stand too for this phone also from Walmart today. But hang on. One more thing I gotta grab, the WD-40. Here it is. That's just some old box of cardboard so we don't scuff up our cylinder head. These are really temperamental, especially this surface, the mating surface to the engine block. It's just some old clothes that I don't care about. That stuff's getting thrown out. So here we go. It's WD-40, guys. And we put it on our Scotch-Brite. And it is a Scotch-Brite, see. Not sponsored, just what I bought. It's basically the stuff you'd use for like cleaning your dishes. The Scotch-Brite. So this part here is this last parts of the gasket. If I can get it in the light enough just for you guys to see. You see where it's black? And it's got like the checkering looking. That's part of the old gasket. And what we're doing here is we got our Scotch-Brite with a WD-40. We're going to take some elbow grease into it and try to get it sit so it doesn't wobble. I think I need to get a cylinder head stand too coming up also. I got the valve spring compressor tool coming. It might be here today even. But see how it's already starting to come up? Let me get in there. This is just the finishing touches on this. Besides taking the valve springs out and taking the valves out and cleaning them up. So, almost done on this driver's side bank. But if I try to put this back together without doing this, cleaning this up, it's gonna leak. It's like wasting my time, right? I'm just gonna get in a better position and get in there. Let me try to get it so it's not wobbly. That's annoying. Thanks for stopping in, Starby and Julia. Appreciate it. It's not as wobbly. And this is not the only way to do it. This is just how I do it, guys. This is cast iron block and cast iron head. So it's not gonna mess anything up. Okay, it's starting to take it off. Try to get it over this way. Yeah, let me put the lid on this thing so that the kerosene doesn't evaporate. There we go. Now we can get back to this. And that way I don't have to smell all the fumes either, right? It's got 2 gallons of kerosene in it. 27-gallon tote. So it's not super deep, but it's deep enough where I can tilt stuff and make it work. This is doing a head gasket job with budget materials. Not super budget. Like, this works the same way as the parts washer would. It's just a tote with some kerosene in it. You know, it's just this tote here. That's what this has been soaking in. Kerosene is basically what you're going to put in your parts washer anyway. For the cheap, unless you get like fancy solutions that cost a lot more than that. Kerosene will work. Look at that scene, we're getting that down. We got basically all this half all pretty clean. It's this side, see there's still gasket. That's what we're working on right now. Because the head gaskets are coming in today. And I'm not sure if the valve spring compressor tools come in today or not. But even after just soaking this in the kerosene for a few days, with this side facing down, it looks like these valves are proceeding a lot better than they were. There was only one exhaust valve. I can't even tell which one now. I think it's this one. This one still looks sitting up a little bit. So we will wait for that valve spring compressor tool to finally take these valves out and do a whole valve job and clean everything up good. With the gaskets coming in. Also, the copper gasket additive is supposed to be coming here too. We want to make sure all the things come before we just go ahead and do it. Because that's what it says in the service information in the Haynes manual. And I did get the angle torque wrench, digital torque wrench 3/8 drive. I bought that the other day and that came in. It's bought with my own money. It's not something that some company was paying me to advertise. I'm not sponsored. I bought all this stuff myself. I don't even think I even really want to be sponsored by any of these people anyway. I can do this myself. I don't need their stuff. Because I don't want to be seen as somebody that's biased about stuff because I'm trying to make commission on it. You know what I mean? This is more like a hobby kind of thing. I'm not doing this for a living. I already have a job and everything. But it's just something to get me connected more with people that are gearheads like myself. And if it grows into something bigger, then that's fine too. But it's not like has to happen or anything. Just trying to see. This is making progress already, guys. This was all just the old gasket stuff there. Those remnants of it, they gotta go, you know. Oh yeah, she's going. Just put a little more elbow grease into it and it starts to come off. Almost down to the metal right here. And it's the super attention to detail on this. You make sure every little speck of this gasket's gone. Because that's going to interfere with the seating of the new gasket. And it'll all be like in vain. You're going to have it leak again, you know. You try to do this all not being thorough. Because this is what you'd be paying for some shop to be doing this, like, by $2 or $3 grand plus, depending on what vehicle you're doing it on. I'm just doing this at home, you know. You save yourself a lot of money doing this stuff at home. You take your time and you just have another vehicle to drive in the meantime. I'm not doing this where I have to try to get it done in one weekend, you know. You're setting yourself up for failure by trying to do stuff like that. You know, you got to have other vehicles to drive in the meantime if you're doing stuff like this. You can't expect this stuff to be done in one weekend. Unless you got like a NASCAR pit crew going at it. Or the people that build the Dollar Generals or something. They're fast, man. Yeah, you're going to need lots of hands on deck if you're trying to get this stuff done real fast. I mean, if you can do it that quick, more power to you. I know I can't. I know my limits. I can do it, but not that fast. Or I can do it fast, but it's not going to be accurate. It's a trade-off, you know. See, I try to get the surface of my, like the palm of my hand, to get that surface area to make it even. Get that rest of that gasket off so we can proceed to the next step. And then you got to pay close attention to these areas in between the cylinder walls, like right here. Definitely. I already worked on this one right here. That one looks good. This one right here didn't get attention yet, so that's what it's getting now. Yeah, just doing this stuff at home, you know, and with common tools. It's just a tote from Home Depot, you know, a kerosene from Walmart, and some brushes from your dishwashing section, and a Scotch-Brite from your dishwashing section. Some WD-40 on this Scotch-Brite. And we're taking the remnants of this head gasket off of this cylinder head from my van here. This is the van. Okay. It's an 05 Astro van. I was already in there doing this because I had to do the intake manifold gaskets and fuel injector spider. So the head gaskets weren't even blown on this. I'm just like, well, I'm already that close to being there. Might as well do it. You know? And that preventative maintenance, then it's done. I don't have to think about it later. You know? I try to do a lot of preventative maintenance, get stuff done while you're already there. Because everything else is all old and whatnot. If you just get it while you're already in there, when that way you don't waiting for that to fail and you have to tear it all back apart. You know, if you get it right now, like I'm doing, you're already there, or you're like 8 steps there. You need to get to 10 steps. You got 2 more steps to go, and then you're already in there. You might as well just do it. You know, if you ask me, in my opinion. Look at that, it's coming right off. Getting there. I mean, I guess the only thing fancier for me to be doing this myself right here in front of you guys. Yeah, thanks for commenting, man. How you doing? Um, how's it going? I uh, I just have a garage to do this in, but if you could still do this stuff, you know, with limited things. The main thing is with the garage, when I get done at the end of the day, I don't have to worry about putting all my tools away. That's a big plus about it. If you're out in the like living at an apartment or something like that, you'd have to go and put all your stuff away every time. But it's still doable. Not ideal, but it's still doable. If you need to save that thousands of dollars towards whatever you need, you know, it goes a long way. Yeah, cylinder head, yeah. Yeah, I seen your comment engine, yeah. This is part of your engine. A real important part of your engine. Appreciate the comments, guys. See those last little bits of remnants? They gotta go. They have little like traces. It's close, but not quite on here. It's just a doesn't say Scotch Brite no more, but it did. And then some WD-40, a cast iron cylinder head, cast iron block. So this is okay to do. This wasn't a blown head gasket. This was just preventative maintenance because I was already doing the intake manifolds, gaskets, and the spider injectors and all the bunch of other stuff. Ignition coil module, ignition coil, bunch of stuff that I'm already in there. So 2 more steps and bam, I'm already doing the cylinder head. You know, the head gaskets. It just made a lot more sense just to do it while I'm there. Stuff's kind of stubborn to come off, but you give it a little more elbow grease and it does. Because you definitely can't just reinstall it with this stuff still here. This side's already been pretty much cleaned up. And then pay careful attention between these cylinder walls. See how that's still got that black stuff from the old gasket? That's got to go. Oh yeah, it's coming up. Patience is key here, guys. It's making sure every little bit of this gasket's gone. It's almost all the way gone in that spot. Yeah. Looks like right here some still too. What's up, GF Motor Garage? How you doing, brother? I take it you like automobiles. Thanks for commenting, man. Appreciate it. Saying hi. Thanks, man. Just a tiny bit left of that gasket right here. Yeah. Get back to this part. See that? The difference. Yeah. So keep going at it. And if you guys are wondering, this is from my 05 Astro van right here. She's all torn apart right now, putting head gaskets, intake manifold gaskets, power steering pump, all kinds of stuff. Just because I was there, I was already doing intake manifold gaskets, and I was like, I'll just do the head gaskets too, even though they weren't blown. Just preventative maintenance, you know. There's nothing saying you can't do that. You know. This is a regular Scotch Brite from your Walmart dishwashing section. And some WD-40 on it. Had this cylinder head soaking in this a homemade parts washer contraption out of just a Home Depot tote and some kerosene. Kerosene from your camping section at Walmart. And some scrub brushes from the dishwashing section at Walmart. You know, I do want to get a real parts washer. I just don't have it in the budget right now with all the other parts stuff we've been buying on the vehicles and bills and whatnot. So to get me through, I just decided to use the tote. And it seems to be working pretty good. It might not look the prettiest and look nice, but hey, it works. It'll help me get this head gasket job done, right? I'm going to be upgrading too, guys. I got a laptop coming, so when I do lives, they'll be better quality. And I'm going to have a new stand coming for this phone also. So we're upgrading constantly and getting better at this. I only been doing this about barely 6 months, so basically got into it because I wanted to document what I was doing on this van, all this stuff. I really like having the videos when I'm tearing stuff apart because I can go back through it myself to watch where stuff went, because it doesn't look the way it did when I first started tearing it apart. Everything's all torn apart now, so having those videos that I made to reference really helps me. And it can help other people too that own these type of vehicles. Because if you guys weren't aware and just tuning in, I bought a 98 Chevy Blazer off Marketplace for like $300 a couple weeks ago. And it's got the same exact engine as this '05 Astro does. It's just a little bit older version of the engine. And I got to do head gaskets on that coming up as well. So this is practice for it. We'll go through that vehicle and change all the fluids. We'll eventually get it started. Supposedly, I guess the old owner said that it still started because it had the head gasket go, they thought. And then coolant was leaking out of the top of the engine area. And they let it sit and got frustrated and came back the next day after letting it sit, and it started right up to get onto the ramp truck to tow it home. And it sat for like 8 years at their house until I bought it. Because I guess they wanted to save it all this time. But they just didn't get it around to it, so they decided to sell it. And they were happy to hear that I wasn't going to try to scrap it or destroy it or anything. I'm trying to fix it up. It's a nice second vehicle for my wife, because I have two vehicles, but it'd be nice if she had two also. So when I'm working on one of them, you could drive the other one. That's the whole logic in my mind about that. So, and I really like driving this kind of stuff also. It's like a time capsule, and not just that. Like, you're not paying giant car insurance and car payments driving this stuff either. Yeah, I get sad if something happens to it, but it's not as sad as I'd be if I was paying through the nose for a new car and in full coverage, you know. And then that stuff, you still have to do maintenance on it also. You can't escape that. So you're still paying all your payments and stuff, and then it needs something major, it needs just regular service, it's still costing you. I know it's not for everybody, this kind of thing. If you don't know what you're doing, yeah, that's a big stumbling block right there. But taking the time to learn is a possibility if you really put your mind to it. I mean, if you've watched any of my videos, I try to always emphasize how to make sure when you're doing your fasteners and your nuts and bolts to not cross thread stuff. And I go into a lot of detail on that, on a lot of my stuff. You're taking your time, making sure your wrenches and your sockets, they fit as tight as possible, and try not to always go on if it's standard or metric. Because sometimes, like on this vehicle, this power steering pump had a standard bolt thrown in there, a curveball. The 14 millimeter socket and wrenches were too tight, but the 15 is way too loose, And right in between there is 9/16 standard. fit like a glove. If you try to wing it, you take your hammer and you're pounding your 14 on, you're gonna mar up that fastener. It's gonna be all boogered up, and every time you use it or try to put wrenches on it, it's gonna keep slipping more and more until it turns into a circle. Then you're having a bad day, and you got to get a replacement for it. So if you just always try to make sure, take your time as much as you can. Sometimes you don't have the time. I realize that. I always go by the rule of thumb is that I take my wrench or my socket and make sure it's the tightest fit possible. And and I use standard and metric. I have them all, and whatever fits the tightest. Most of the time, all this stuff's metric, you know. But some stuff, weird stuff like sensors and stuff on the engines, they throw standard in there. I think some of the suspension stuff is like that too. So it's always good to keep that stuff. Keep both. It'll save your butt. And having like doubles and triples of the same sockets and wrenches, it really helps too. Because if say you only got one type of one little tool set, you gotta constantly keep going back looking for that one little socket. If you only have one of the same socket, it doesn't hurt to have just a whole bunch of the same thing. You get like Craftsman or something, you know, Harbor Freight, whatever you can afford. It's better than not having anything. Just for, you know, don't ever try to take like pliers to everything. Right? Yeah, and that's not what you do. Like, you get the right sockets and wrenches, and that's how you do that stuff. You don't just take pliers to everything. Because, yeah, maybe it'll work, but it's going to booger up the fastener so bad. Whoever has to work on it next is a nightmare. You got to use rounded off fastener extractor things, and pain in the butt. And a lot of those bolts to replace are expensive. And if it's something older like this, they don't carry it anymore at the stores. You know. Getting that. Oh yeah, it's coming off. It doesn't look as good through the camera, but when I looked at it, I get a better look. You can see there's just like almost just like a stain from the gasket itself. It's just barely there. We're gonna take it off, get it so it's looking the same. Because that little bit there isn't supposed to be there, and that's gonna cause problems of sealing with the new gasket, and you don't want that. And also, if you guys have never done this type of job, I have, I'll show you. Here, I'll show you. Hang on a second. It's like a true straight edge thing. I got it right here. You got what's called your, yeah, the flat. You measure your flatness. And then you take your feeler gauges. I have them too. Let me get right here. These are all new still. They're little blades. I'll open it up and show you. They're not actually like blades, but they're little. Get two hands on this. Here we go. Just an example. Your feeler gauges. These are like thousandths of an inch, I believe. Or they're metric, thousandths of centimeters. And there'll be a spec inside that book. The Haynes manual I have for service information. And then what you're going to do with this is you're going to set this. I'll show you just briefly. So this is like a true straight edge. So say right down here in the smack in the center. I'll try to get the lighting better. You get like that. You see, Let me set this down. Okay. Well, this will be with the plastic off, but this is just demonstration, just so you guys get a idea of what I'm talking about. So this sits completely flush, best you can get it, and like it'd be like right in the center like this. And also you do it from different angles and stuff like that. But for now, this is what we're saying. And then you're gonna take your feeler gauges, like I just showed them, and you're gonna take the one for the specification that's in the book, for the smallest that's allowable. That's supposed to be like where it can't fit. And you're going to slide it in between any of these areas on this whole air gasket surface, but especially pay close attention to areas like by the water jackets and the oil passages, but also in between these cylinder walls is really crucial. And if it's out of spec, that feeler gauge will fit right in there, you know, and it'll slide through and it's not supposed to. And that's when you know you have like a warped head. And you can do the same thing. You do the same thing on the engine block itself as well. So it gives you guys a good idea of that type of thing. I hope that helps somebody. Maybe shed light on something that people weren't aware of. I still got another light here that might help. Okay, I've set my thingy down. Oh, here it is. Okay, we'll keep going. But then, yeah, hopefully that helps some of you guys get an idea of what that stuff is, what I was just talking about. Hey, what's up, Roma? How you doing? Thanks for commenting and watching. I appreciate it. I try to help enlighten people about this kind of stuff. What goes into doing this type of thing for like this cylinder head thing. So yeah, these are the feeler gauges. They have a lot of uses also, not just for this type of thing. It's for checking tolerances between things. Say like your brake rotors, there's a minimum and maximum thickness. More likely you use a dial caliper. I have one of them as well. I could show you guys. But it's got a minimum tolerance thickness is what it means. And you can see, like, I guess your brake pads, they usually use like a brake pad thickness gauge. Your brake pads are obviously a lot thicker than what these little feeler gauges are designed for. If they're that thin, it's time to change your brake pads there. You're probably getting dangerously low. Oh yeah, that's coming off good. But yeah, doing these videos really helps me have something to go back on when I'm trying to put this all back together to help make it look like it's supposed to. It helps. I don't really need it, but it does help. Because the thing is, we try to make it look like we were never even there when we work on this stuff, when we did the repair. Let's say you were in a shop doing this and the customer comes out and goes, "Did you even work on my car?" Because you were such a good attention to the detail of making it all look the way it's supposed to. When you put it back together, they couldn't even tell you were there in the first place. That's the kind of thing you're trying to shoot for. Like you're doing such a good job that they don't even know that you were in there. The car runs a million times better, but what'd you do to it? Were you in there? Yeah, I was, but I made sure that you couldn't tell I was in there. Thanks for everybody saying hi. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's a thing. You don't want to be a sloppy hack mechanic, you know. You gotta take some pride in doing this stuff so it comes out right, you know. It's like that's like your recipe book, your service information book. And It's like you're baking a cake and you don't follow the directions, then you're getting frustrated and mad that your cake's not right. Well, if you didn't follow the directions, it's probably makes sense. There's probably some real critical details in there and you didn't follow them to a T, so that's why it didn't turn out right. Thanks for commenting, Victor. I don't speak Spanish, unfortunately, but thanks for stopping in. You're more than welcome to be in here. I don't have anything against people that are a different culture than me. You know, appreciate the support. Sounds like you're saying some cool stuff. Or maybe you know Maria Paladu. That's cool. Yeah, like the thing is, yeah, these cars trying to make sure everything looks the same when you get done putting it all back together. That's what I try to strive for. So people really appreciate it when you go the extra mile. Like, I know this is my own personal vehicle, but say this wasn't, you know, you putting that extra attention to it. And also, you don't want to have to do it again. Like when I worked in the shops, we didn't want, our thing was to make sure that we try to make it so that you can't even tell we were in there. Also, you know, and make sure you're doing the best job possible. Keeping everything clean, you're not scuffing up the car, or you're not stealing stuff from the customers, you know. Just having integrity, you know. It goes a long way in the life. You know. Because sometimes these customers will leave stuff around to try to bait you to take their stuff, get you in trouble. You know, trying to tempt you, you know. You never take their crap or their stuff. Well, it's just unprofessional. Why would you do that, you know? And then you try to, you know, keep the fender covers on. I have to get some here, but these are my own personal vehicles, you know. But you can, in a pinch, you can use like a blanket, you know. You cover around the engine cowl and all that, so every time you're leaning against it, you're not scuffing everything up, scratching the paint. Because there's some people that like have a photographic memory of what their car is like, and most minor scratch, even if you didn't do it, maybe it happened somewhere else, they'll think you did it. You know how it is. If you guys have ever owned a brand new car, you're constantly like paranoid about somebody scratching your car. I've never owned a brand new car, but I've owned like a pretty relatively new, and that's how I felt. It was new to me, and I cared, you know. I'd get all, you know, worried all day long about somebody scratching it and parking all far away, you know. Try to work on this end here. Oh wow, that's coming up pretty quick. That piece of gasket. Remnant. Hi, how's it going, Tayaba? I don't know if I said your name right, and I apologize if I didn't. Hi, Tayaba Anthony. How's it going, man? Thanks for stopping in and commenting, brother. Appreciate it. Hopefully you're learning something here, or just getting something out of being in here. I appreciate it. You guys stopping in to check it out. And my lives are going to be better coming up here pretty soon. I got a new laptop coming, and we're going to get a new stand for this phone also. We got more stuff coming out for videos also. We're going to get this van running too. That'd be something to look forward to. If you've been watching this stuff at all, I've been constantly doing stuff on this van. Because I ended up tearing this down because the spider injectors were going in this, and I had 4 OBD2 codes on it, like PO171, I think PO174. I had a mass airflow sensor code, and what else? I think something was like a misfire also. No, PO300, I think that's what it was. And it was related to the fuel pressure not being right with the, because I just changed about a month plus ago. I did the fuel pump in this. I changed it to a new GM fuel pump, so it's, I'm gonna worry about it anymore. It's done, and that helped somewhat. But the rest of the stuff's getting changed. And then, oh yeah, I was skipping around here. So I ended up doing this cylinder head gasket because I was already there. That's why I was like, hey, I'm already doing the intake manifolds in this, and I'm doing the spider injectors in here. Like, it's right there. Why don't I just take off some more of these bolts, take the exhaust manifold off, and I'm pretty much got, then take the cylinder head studs out, and then I could change the cylinder head gaskets. These head gaskets, they're not that expensive, but it's a lot of labor. If you're already that close to doing it, it doesn't make sense for me to just to do that one little thing and skip this, because the gaskets weren't even blown yet, but it's a mystery how good a shape they were. Because I remember the guy I bought this from, he never told me anything about having new head gaskets. I mean, the head gaskets looked okay, but they're going to be brand new now since I'm in here. And the new gaskets are supposed to come in today. The only other thing we're waiting on is the valve spring compressor tool to take these valves out, and the copper gasket dressing stuff that's supposed to come. To put, according to the service information I have from the Haynes manual, you're going to use this copper gasket dressing stuff, and I'll tell you the name and stuff when I get onto it. So if you stay tuned in the future to watch more of this, I'm going to do all this on live and videos and lots of documentation of doing this stuff. So maybe it can help somebody in doing this stuff. And I got the new torque wrench also. I just got one from Gear Wrench. I made some shorts on it so far. That's going to be used on it. It does the torque wrench. It's digital, 3/8 drive. It's like 10 foot-pounds to 100 foot-pounds of adjustment on it, and it does torque to angle as well. I'm not sponsored. This stuff's just bought with my own money. Everything is bought with my own money. Nothing on this channel is sponsored. Not sponsored at all. I haven't seen it. I don't think I really want to be sponsored. I think I like to keep it real with you guys and try to be a shill and sell you stuff that, because I'm making a commission on it. I'd rather you guys see I sponsored myself and they're like, hey, if it works for this guy. And I try to do updates on stuff that I review that I bought with my own money, and give it like a year update, and or over time, over several years, because that's the thing I like when I'm looking to buy a product. I like to know if somebody's actually owned it and been using it and what they think of it, and like to know if they were just a paid shill to have it in the first place, and it's not something that's like an honest review. Because I made a short on one of the worst products I've had yet that I bought with my own money. That 12-ton press from Vevor brand, total junk, guys. Don't buy it. Anything of a press from Vevor, I would stay away from it. It's Chinesium. That stand on the pressing part, I made the short on, and you can see it, and the thing's all crushed from just using it once. Total disappointment. It's made out of like chintzy, whatever steel quality they used. Not impressed, guys. And there's stuff like that out there, and there was good reviews on it. So somebody's not being honest, man. Why was there good reviews on something that obviously wasn't good? When I went to use it once to press out control arm bushings on my truck, my 98K 1500 Chevy, and that's not even a heavy duty truck, guys. It's just a 1500. It's not like a 2500 or a 3500, like a 3/4 ton or a 1 ton. It's just a regular old truck. And that thing bent like bad, really bad. It like bowed like and turned into a U shape from just pressing out control arm bushings. That's not acceptable, guys, you know. Like now I'm looking at getting like a better press, you know. But I wish I didn't even buy that press, you know. I was out like 160 bucks for something that it's like I had to like rig it up better to make it still somewhat usable, but I'm not impressed with it. It makes me mad every time I use it, you know. So if it saves you guys the frustration to not buy that, I hope that helps. I also wasn't impressed with the 3/8 drive Matco ratchet I bought with my own money as well. The reverse pawl on, I only had it about a year, not even, and that thing, the reverse is all broken on the thing. It's like I should, yeah, I can get a rebuild kit for $10, but why should I have to do that if I got all these other like cheapo ratchets and they're working great? They didn't do that. So some of this stuff, it's like I don't know, the quality control or something's not there on some of these things. You just got to be wary, and then wary about who's doing the review and if they were a paid shill. You know, not all the paid shills are bad, guys. Don't get me wrong. You know, it's just at the end of the day, you want to be a happy customer. You know, you want you want quality, and you want to know what you're getting. A lot of these nice reviews where people show you the products and everything. I like that stuff. And then they show you and they're straight honest with you about it. They're not trying to hide anything or trying to get you to buy something that's not really that good, you know. I do some reviews on this channel, so I don't know. I've only been going on my channel about 6 months now, so bear that in mind. But I'm not sponsored. It's just stuff out of my own pocket. It's things that I like in my life, and that's, you know. This is coming along nice, guys. We've been going up along the strip here. This was all like this gasket. There's still quite a bit here. No, not a whole lot, but you know, trying to get these parts in between. Careful attention. Anywhere these gaskets, you can still see the remnants of it, so it's still got some to go. We'll have to get more Scotch Brights and keep going at it, but I try to use them, keep going until there's nothing left of it, pretty much. Because this isn't going in today anyway. This is still has to have the gaskets come in, and I still have the valve spring compressor tool coming in to take these out to do the valve jobs. And I still got to clean up that intake manifold pretty good. That's going to go in the kerosene today. I got to take out the thermostat housing, or yeah, the thermostat out of it, because I don't want that soaking in the kerosene. I don't know if that's going to mess up the thermostat, but I don't want to chance it. Kerosene's pretty caustic. As you can see, I've been wearing these gloves, guys. If you're working with kerosene, the stuff will start, at least to me, it gave me like some, like, like burn in my hand. I had it, my glove go out on it the other night going live. And it was only on there for about 20 minutes, but man, that spot was like all burning and like red and patchy skin and burning, man. The stuff's, the safety's really important. You're working with stuff like that. Kerosene, it's not something you want on your skin. Hi, how's it going? Thanks for commenting. Mubarak Saeed. I think that's how I say it. Appreciate it, man. Hopefully you guys get something out of watching this. And I'm gonna have better lives coming up here. I got a nice laptop coming in. I just got it ordered the other day. So it'll be better quality. And we're gonna get a better stand also for this phone also. We're constantly getting better in this. And we're gonna get this van driving too. I guess you guys probably want to see that too, right? It's coming up. This is the steps, the baby steps to getting it done. This is how you do it when you don't pay a shop to do it. You do it yourself. I pocket that $3,000. I keep it I don't have to spend $3,000 or whatever. Have the thing sitting at some shop and I know what they're doing to it. If I'm doing this myself, I know it's all being done right. And that's important, you know? Because this is the same stuff they'd be doing at the shop. They're just charging you tons for the labor, man. The gaskets are only like all the parts and gaskets, probably less than $200, depending on what quality gaskets you get and all the little parts and things that go in there while you're in there. You're paying like $3,000 plus for all that labor. Making the surface uneven. This is a cast iron cylinder head. Oh yeah, thanks for saying hi. It's just a Scotch-Brite. We're taking the remnants of this gasket off. That's what we're doing right now. Yeah, this cylinder head wasn't even blown. This was just because I was in there already doing the intake manifolds. Yeah, possibly. Not enough to make a difference though. And we're gonna check the flatness, and we got that true straight edge. These are the feeler gauges. Yeah, thanks for the comment. Yeah, definitely not like I'm doing at it with a belt sander though. You know what I mean? Well, this is pretty acceptable, man. It's I mean, doing this on a budget. I mean, what do you think? I know a lot of you guys don't really comment, but at least sometimes people like to comment. Yeah, I appreciate you commenting, man. And it's nice, it's not bad having some people point out things that are, yeah. This isn't the perfect, best picture perfect way to do it. It's just how I do it, okay? You know? That's just no, it's just a way to show how one way can be done, you know. It's not the only way to be done, you know. If that makes sense. But yeah, I definitely if this was an aluminum head and block, I definitely wouldn't be doing this. I'd use the silicone type of whizzy wheel thing they make for that type of material. So yeah, different material types. They're gonna have different procedure to do it safely. Yeah. And we got that valve spring compressor tool coming in so we can take these valves out. We'll do them one at a time and make sure that everything that comes out from these spots, they go back into the same spot after they get out, and the valve seating area is clean. The valve the valves themselves get cleaned up. We get the valve grinding compound. It's just a mild abrasive to clean off the gunk off of them. So that way these sit flush, because there's this one that was sitting up a little bit. It's not sitting up nearly as much as it was because it's been soaking in kerosene. Yeah, I thought I'd make some videos like this in live because when I looked up a guide on YouTube of anybody doing this particular engine, there was like a video from like 7 years ago, and the guy's going so fast and he's not showing any of the details of anything. He's basically just going over after he already did it. I mean, he was in there a little bit, but he's skipping around so much. So I'm like, I guess I'll just make some stuff of my own content. And if anybody didn't like it, it was more for being myself, so I could go back on it myself to backtrack all the stuff that had to come out and know where everything goes, like the little bolts, 'cause especially that the plastic upper intake manifold on this. There's a lot of the bolts. There's certain length and they go in a certain spot. And that was one of the things that I wanted to make sure on. But this stuff, you just got to take your time and do a good job. And that way also with like the filming of doing this kind of thing. Like that guy's video, it had like 70,000 views, but it was like the only video. That's why it had all those views. I don't think the quality was really there. There's just no other options for people to watch. It didn't help me at all. Like it showed really vague, and I had to keep rewinding it all the time. And the little part where I was trying to see, it constantly keeps on like changing the angle of the camera, or it's out of frame, or something's not right. And it's like, well, I mean, I give him credit for doing it, because up until his video, there was nothing there. And there's enough of these vans and vehicles that have this 4.3 in it around still, so it's not like I'm the only one in the world with this type of vehicle still. Yeah, so when I get all the everything in and everything all prepped and all good to go, I mean, we'll do this valve job more than likely doing it live as well when that stuff comes in. And then when we do the actual head gasket, all that stuff, we're doing that live. And this is out of my Astro van here, if you guys aren't aware, or you're new to the channel. This is what we're doing this on. We got power steering pump and all that. Lines came in, so that's going to be getting done here too. More than likely on live as well. And then just other videos. Because I couldn't find any good videos on doing the power steering pump in this thing either. So I decided to make my own content on it. Because last year, before I started doing YouTube, I did all that stuff on my 98 K1500 Chevy. I did the power steering pump and the steering gearbox, whole front end suspension rebuild. And it wasn't that bad. It's like having a new vehicle once you get all your steering stuff changed and your new all that stuff's brand new. Man, it rides nice. And I originally wasn't even planning on getting the power steering pump for this. It was okay, but when I tried to take it off so I could get the cylinder head out because that was in the way, um, whoever worked on this before, they stripped out the threads on the power steering pump, the pulley. So I ended up having to take it off, like rigging up a little contraption. I made a short on it on how I did it. I ended up having to do that to get the power steering pump off. And that since it's all stripped out and it's old and whatnot, and the fluid's all disgusting, and I'm just gonna change all that while I'm there. Be done with it because everything else, it's got a new alternator. I changed that. It's got a new water pump, new belt, the serpentine belt. It's got a new timing chain. I put a new timing chain sprocket, new harmonic balancer, all that stuff. And why would I put this old ratty power steering pump back in? It don't make any sense. With a stripped out pulley threads. Because I was putting that thing in, I kept going and turning it and threading it in. And I kept on trying to pull it out, and it kept taking chunks of threads of the metal out. I'm like, what is going on here? Like whoever worked on it boogered it up. Hi, how's it going? Bonjour. So you're French. That's cool, man. Thanks for stopping in. You're welcome here. Appreciate the comment. They got Astros in France. There's a lot of other countries that speak French as well, so that's cool. That's what this is from my Astro van. Getting somewhere on getting this gasket off right here. Getting there. This looks a lot better, guys. I soaked this in kerosene face down with this in this tote with the kerosene for a couple days after I scrubbed it a while, and it's looking a lot better. It's taken off a lot of the gunk that I remember it having. I got the power steering pump bracket and AC compressor bracket. They're the same bracket, soaking in that tote right now. Because that had a bunch of gunk on it. It's really good. It's just a homemade, cheap thing to have in a parts washer if you don't have one. That's what I just made out of this, So it's nice when you're trying to put stuff back together. The whole point of that, what I'm trying to get at, is for me, the thing is all greasy and stuff. And it's kind of nice when you're putting stuff back together and you don't have it all nasty. Oh, thanks for saying hi, man. I appreciate it. When you have the stuff all nice and clean, it makes it a lot less stressful and more pleasant experience putting parts together that aren't all greasy and nasty. And then you can tell if something's got a crack in it or a break in it if you get it all nice and clean. You look at it and just inspect it visually, and you can tell if something's not right. Because a lot of times if you leave all that grease on there and you don't get it all nice and clean, there can be stuff like that on there and you wouldn't know it. All that grease and the grime can block like cracks and blemishes on your parts, Having this stuff clean helps. And it's just nice, Nice to have clean stuff. The other night when I did the live on this, there was these passages here that were all nasty. They look like they cleaned up pretty good. I was in there with like a flat tip screwdriver just poking in there, and it was like clogged with gunk. It just kept coming out. Like looked like uh, lots of gunk stuff that you don't want floating around in your engine. So it's a good thing getting in there and just cleaning this stuff up, you know. As you can see, this Scotch Brite is not nearly as hard of a material as this is. See how it's just getting worn to nothing? So that's how we know it's okay. And this is a cast iron cylinder head. So we just work at getting this gasket out. It's a Scotch Brite with some WD-40 on it. From like your Walmart dishwashing section. Like what this brush is from. Right here. Okay. And kerosene didn't seem to have an effect on this gasket material coming off. Because this was soaking in there for a couple of days. So just elbow grease and WD-40 will take it out with your Scotch Brite. And make sure that it's just like a regular one. You don't want like the super abrasive kind, because they sell kinds that have like super abrasiveness and things like that. You don't want that. You got this is a really temperamental, touchy area. You don't want to be gouging out metal. And all the attention you do to this, kind of like painting, if you guys have ever done painting, it's all in the prep work. Because I don't just pull this out, leave the old material, slap a new gasket, and impact it down, you know. We're following the service information recipe to this kind of thing. It's basically like a cookbook for your car. Anything you want to turn out right, you're going to follow the directions. You're not just doing what you feel like. You're doing what the directions tell you, and nothing more, nothing less. Because there's more of this 4.3 engine could come. So I got that 98 Blazer that has the same engine in this, and that needs head gaskets. So this is good practice for doing that one. Nice and smooth. That's a piece of gasket there. That's not a gouge. Okay. And you'd be surprised the other night when I was doing this, I was running the toothbrush through areas like this before I got this brush here. Oh my God. This brush, and you can get into these areas here, and there's all kinds of weird stuff coming out of those passageways. So this is where you don't want to skimp on attention to detail. You just making sure everything's exactly right before you try to put it back together. That way you don't have to do it again. It's just done, you know, and go on with life. And also, if you're doing this job, you're gonna get new head gasket studs, the stud bolts, because those are torque to yield type, meaning if you use them once they you remove them, they're not something you reuse. You get a whole new set of them, and that's what we got coming. We got new studs coming. New gasket, obviously. We don't reuse the gasket. Why? I don't understand myself. I mean, if you're totally that, like, if you have nothing, you can't afford the gasket, I guess. But for something like this, just go get all new parts and stuff. This stuff's not super expensive to do all this. The parts is where the shop gets you is the labor. That's the part that they all the cost goes to. The parts themselves for doing this is not very much. Probably about less than $200 for everything. The studs, the good gaskets, the multi-layered steel. That's what we're putting in this. Because they sell like a composite gasket. I guess they're not as good. If I'm already in there this far, I want to put good stuff in it, you know. I don't want to mess around with this over and over again. And then the whole point of doing this also is to, if you ever had an older vehicle and you ever had the head gasket go on it, it can leave you stranded, you know. So that's the whole point also why we were doing this while we're already here. Because being stranded is not cool. Having a head gasket go out on you in the middle of nowhere. Or just any maintenance stuff on your car. I got into this stuff because I had my 98 Honda Civic and I didn't know how to do anything on it, you know, back in like over 10 years ago. And I had the ball joint go out on it and it snapped the CV shaft. Like it was like their driver's side front tire ball joint. And then you're stranded. You got to get it towed. So the money you could have went to fixing this is going towards a tow job and not going towards actually fixing it. Because then you still have to, on top of the tow job, you got to pay to get it all fixed. You know, not fun. Don't. I recommend getting it fixed. Preventative maintenance style, like I'm doing here. We don't wait till it's catastrophically fails in the middle of nowhere while we're driving it. We get it. We preventative maintenance style do this while we're here, and it's all, you know, parked safely at my garage, versus driving it on the highway and not maintaining nothing. And then when it catastrophically fails, you're stranded and you're paying a tow job, and on top of it, paying the repair bill, or trying to ditch the car and get another car to do the same thing over to, you know. These vehicles will last you if you put in effort and maintain them. Even if you're not the one that's doing the mechanic work, just knowing what goes into this kind of thing, what your car needs. They all pretty much have like a universal type of thing. They all got head gaskets unless they're electric. I don't know much about the electrics. Not really interested in them. But stuff like this, all these cars got, if they take gasoline, they got pretty much the same kind of thing going on. Not exactly the same way it's going to look, but same concept, you know. And making sure you go through and maintain everything, because this stuff will leave you stranded if you don't maintain your vehicles. Yeah, changing your oil is real important, but what about your transmission fluid? If you're four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, you got your differential fluids, you got your transfer case fluids, your brake fluid, you know. Not just topping them off, but like actually taking that old stuff out, take it all out, drain it, buy the correct fluid. You're going to have a service information, or even your owner's manual will tell you what fluids and type of things. A lot of stuff's in your owner's manual, and you can maintain this stuff. It's not some special magic voodoo trick doing this stuff. It's just taking the time to learn it and taking it seriously, because it can save your butt. You can get stranded, man. Your car breaks down in the middle of nowhere. You know, you don't got like daddy's credit card to go and bail you out. So I wish I did, but you know, it's just better to in being realistic, it's better to know this stuff. At least get a good idea of some of this stuff. So if you do take it to the shop, you know what they're talking about. You got a better chance of the right things being fixed, and um, not being like taken advantage of and sold stuff you don't need. And it feels good knowing how to do this stuff when you learn this stuff, you know. And it's not something you got to learn all at once. Just take time and here and there. And it makes more sense when your own vehicle you have is going through the same stuff that you're watching, like this kind of thing. You know, like, oh, okay, he's doing a head gasket right now. I remember I had a car breakdown before, like, oh, and they told me it was the head gasket. So this is what was wrong with my car. So it kind of like connect the dots for this thing to put an image in your head of what they were saying when, like, if you had this happen in your own vehicle and your own personal experience. And hey, oh, like, oh, maybe I could have learned to fix that. Like, that's all that had to go to it. I mean, it's kind of a lot, but it's kind of isn't either. And this kind of thing also, what I learned is to take it at, like, it's like a bite at a time. You're not going to eat a whole elephant all at once, kind of thing, figuratively. I do this in a little bit of steps, and it's all at my own pace. This is all torn apart in my own garage at home. But if you have, like, you live in an apartment or something, it's still doable. You have to put your tools away and such so people don't steal your stuff. It's more frustrating, but it still can be done. And then just getting yourself that service information book and following the directions for whatever particular service you're doing, and learning how to use these tools correctly. If you don't know that part's really important. And I tried in my videos to try to get the point across about, because I wish I would have known when people tell me when I worked on stuff and how to make sure you don't strip the bolts and cross thread things. That's a huge thing. And I think it's something people need to be more aware of. How to make sure that you don't cross thread and round off the heads of your bolts and stripping fasteners out, and to make sure you use like the right wrenches and sockets that fit the tightest. Don't be just taking pliers to everything, acting like that's the correct tool, because it's not. And those adjustable wrenches too, unless they're a really good quality brand name one, they'll round off fasteners really good, really fast too. You gotta be careful with them. Just that kind of stuff is really important, you know. You think so? I did get a pack of them. And it's almost like it's like stained into the metal in some of these parts though. It's like it's a good idea. I did keep that in mind. I had the plastic ones and I got the metal ones. I got a whole pack of them now. Thanks for commenting, Jacob Kelly. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, that's what I was got lost train of thought there. I got when you're learning this stuff and working on your cars and working on your own stuff just to try to save some money and get you by, learning how to use the wrenches and the sockets is so important. Like making sure that you're not rounding off the fasteners and cross threading things. Because I wish I would have known that a lot better, or a better good explanation for it. Because you can't just take any old size sockets and try to make stuff go. If it's too loose or too it doesn't fit, then you have to get the one that does fit. Because they basically supposed to just fit like a glove on there. You know how people when they try to change their oil for the first time or something, and they use pliers on their drain plug and things like that. That's what I'm trying to teach. The people that are just getting new to this stuff, that you can do this stuff. Take your time and get yourself a real tool set. Don't just try to use pliers on everything. And start your bolts by hand. Don't be trying to put it on your ratchet or your impact, and then you end up cross threading and rounding everything off, and you got to take out the old messed up bolts. And it's frustrating. So just learning to do it the right way is the key thing. Because if I'm doing this stuff, a lot of you guys can do it too. I'm not like a genius or anything. You think so? This wasn't even a blown head gasket. This is just because I was already there. Oh, yeah, excuse me. So I was already doing the intake manifold gaskets in the spider injectors on this van, the 4.3, and so I ended up just going a couple more steps and taking the cylinder heads out so I could do the gaskets, just change them out while I'm there. So this isn't warped. It wasn't leaking at all when I took it apart. I'm not saying you could be right. I appreciate the comments. Yeah, right. Yeah, that'd be nice. All right. Yeah, supercharger would be nice, or a turbo, right? I've seen thing on like the Astro forums about them having a hard time trying to fit a turbo in there with the limited space, but I think it's doable. I know they can put a 5.3 LS in it. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, we got the feeler gauges and then that the deck straightness tool, the straight edge. So yeah, we'll check it too. And if it is out of spec, then yeah, they probably would have to take it to the shop, the machine shop. Good advice there. Thanks for saying that. It's always these little details that'll get you. So you gotta, just like you're saying. Yeah, I agree with you. That's a good explanation point. The way you explained it really made a lot of sense. So I appreciate that. I guess they can turbo these if they get like they have that marine intake I've seen, and it switches like it's got an actual fuel rail coming into it instead of like the spider injector stuff. So that was pretty cool. I didn't really know much about that. But yeah, that's like one of the best comments I think there, Jacob. You seem to know what you're talking about. That's a really good point you made without coming across as being like everything. That's you're a smart dude. I could tell. I really appreciate that. Just to be sure, yeah, yeah, that's the way to. Yeah, we'll check the check with the feeler gauges. Definitely. Once we get this all cleaned up to a satisfactory level, definitely gonna take you up on that advice. And if it doesn't come out to where it's meeting specs, then yeah, it's going to the machine shop. Hopefully, it's fine though. But if it isn't, oh, S360. Yeah, this is a V6. I mean, but yeah, I used to have a Trailblazers, and they had the straight six in them with the 4.2. But yeah, really good advice, Jacob. I appreciate that. Can't say that enough because that's a really good detail you don't want to overlook. You don't want to put this on if it's a warped head, it's going to leak. And making sure if it's absolutely true into spec is super important. It makes the whole point of doing this in vain if it's all warped, right? That little bit there. All Dawn dish spray, that works good. Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely get a new piece of. This is a Scotch Brite. It's from your dishwashing section. I appreciate the tips, man. I've haven't had a chance to do a whole lot of these yet, so any little input really helps. It's trying to help the people that are doing this themselves, also. All those little details is add up to big things. You got any more good tips for the viewers out there and myself? So the Dawn dish spray, the regular dish soap or the spray? Because they're not the same thing, are they? It's like staining there. I know this part's staining. These, I let that soak and scrub, and that's just staining from like combustion. Well, that's coming out pretty good. Okay, guys, so stay tuned for next thing we're gonna do. We're gonna go through with the book and use these feeler gauges and that true straight edge. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me just try to stand up here. The straight edge here to check for the deck straightness. This thing, it goes across. I'll show you real briefly what we're gonna do. It's gonna be taken out of the plastic, but it's gonna be sitting across here and across all the spot parts in the book that tell you to check the angles. And then these feeler gauges, you're gonna go to the smallest one that is in the specs in the service information in the Haynes manual that I have, and you're gonna try to just demonstrate real quick. These have how thick they are labeled on them. Right, hang on. Oh, there it is. It's just not showing. Right here. It's like, so okay, let's say that's the spec checking. You're gonna go through like these areas right here are real important. Like right where the cylinder walls come together. You try to sit there and slip that under. And you're gonna follow the specs to do that. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna be doing that coming up when I go live again. I'm gonna have to cut this one short here. I gotta end up, my kid's in pre-K. I gotta go pick her up. It was her first day, so I was getting this stuff done while she was off at school. So all you guys for thanks all you guys for watching. I appreciate it. And we're gonna check this with the feeler gauges and this straight edge next time I go live, according to the service information from the Haynes manual on this GM 43 V6 out of my 05 Astro van. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. All right.